When I was 16, my family moved into a small one-story house on the outskirts of a quiet, heavily wooded town in North Carolina. It wasn't totally rural, but our backyard did stretch right into thick woods, and the nearest neighbor was a good quarter-mile down the road. It was a fixer-upper my parents were proud of, even if it creaked when the wind blew and had a basement that always smelled faintly of mildew. One summer night, a storm came. Thunder, lightning, high winds. My parents were out of town for their anniversary, and I was home alone in the living room watching old episodes of The X-Files. Around 11:30 p.m., I heard a loud bang outside. It was sharp and metallic, like someone hitting a pipe with a crowbar. I paused the program and turned off the TV. At first I thought it was just thunder, but then I heard it again, an explosion. This time I could tell it was coming from the backyard. The lights flickered. I waited, holding my breath. Another bang, louder, almost directly behind the house. I grabbed my phone and turned on the flashlight, heading to the sliding glass door in the kitchen that looked out back. At first, I couldn't see anything through the rain-spattered glass, just the trees thrashing in the wind. Then lightning flashed, and I saw movement. Near the edge of the woods, something darted behind the rusted metal storm drain that sat half submerged in the ground. That drain had always creeped me out. It was big enough for a person to crawl into, and my dad had joked once about how raccoons or even coyotes might live down there. I should have called someone. Instead, I put on my hoodie, grabbed my flashlight, and went outside. The rain was coming from the side, and the wind was howling, but I pointed a flashlight at the drain. Another flash of lightning, and this time I saw eyes. Two pale, wide eyes staring back at me from the drain. My heart pounding, I stumbled back inside and locked the door. I called my best friend Sam, who lived a few blocks away. He didn't believe me at first until I FaceTimed him and showed him the backyard through the kitchen window. Now, there was nothing. But when I zoomed in on the drain opening with my phone's camera, Sam said, "Dude, I think that's a hand, on the edge." The lights went out a second later. The room was plunged into total darkness. I could hear the wind, the rain hammering the roof, and somewhere beyond it all, a metallic clanging again. But now, it wasn't outside. It was beneath the floor. I grabbed a flashlight and crept toward the basement door. Every horror movie I'd ever watched told me not to open it, but I was frozen in place. Something thudded again beneath the floorboards. Then another metallic sound, like someone hitting the basement door from the inside. Then silence. I opened the basement door and aimed the flashlight down. Nothing. Just the wooden steps and concrete walls. I called out, "Is someone down there?" No answer. I waited until the next flash of lightning lit up the backyard again, and this time I saw the storm drain open. The lid, usually sealed shut with a padlock, was flipped open and lying beside it in the wet grass. Something had climbed out. I slammed the basement door shut, locked it, and called the police. They didn't find anyone, only muddy footprints in the backyard and smudges on the basement window from outside. The lock on the storm drain had been cut with bolt cutters. They guessed a drifter might have been sleeping in it, maybe looking for a way in to shelter from the storm. But when I checked the old records weeks later, I learned something else. That storm drain? It had once been connected to an abandoned bunker buried deep under the neighborhood, sealed up in the 70s after a series of mysterious deaths during its construction. No one could explain how the drain had been opened or why the footsteps led to the basement window and not away